Hey there guys, I'm SonicGhost and welcome back to some more Let's Play Splatoon 2. Last time we continued making our way through World 2 here and we unlocked ourselves two new bombs in the game. The Auto Bomb and the Curling Bomb. In this episode we're going to go ahead and continue exploring World 2. And we'll actually be able to show off the Auto Bomb this time around, see what we can go ahead and do. So first off, we can go ahead and climb up this wall, but I see Marie over here looking at something, so let's see what she's looking at. Sounds like lots of squids have been working as power egg collectors nowadays. That is very true, and then you tell me about how to climb. So that power egg thing is actually a new multiplayer mode that they made specifically for Splatoon 2. And I'll be going into what that mode is in a future video. But for now, I'm just gonna talk about how good my hygiene is. I got some nice hygiene. Times like this, I miss Agent 3. Pretty sure Agent 4 is lost. Agent 4 is such a talker. Commence Operation Awkward Silence. Good operation, you already failed it. I'm just trying to see if she has any good dialogue for me here. Maybe should start looking for an Agent 5. Oh man, easily replaced already. That's just, it's just like real life. You're just that easily replaced nowadays. And she really wants to make you known. So let's go ahead and do level 8 here. Spinning Campground. Ink me out, ink me in. That sounds like a line that you can get from a song. Ink me out, ink me in. It's like some kind of pop song you can probably get. But this level here, we're going to be using our hero shot once again, so let's go ahead and use our basic weapon. But this level really, you don't really need anything else to be honest. And this one's kind of fun because this is the introduction of these platforms here. The ink furlers. Ink furlers are very interesting because you have to shoot the tips of them to make them roll out. And ink furlers, they do have a timer, so they will retract after a while. So you have to keep on shooting them if you want to extend it out for as long as it can. So down here, we have ourselves another meal ticket. This time around, though, it look a little different. The ones we've been finding so far in the game, they've had these green little arrows on it, but that one looked like it had a gold coin. So I can go ahead and talk about what meal tickets are in particular now, since we found both types. So meal tickets are used for multiplayer in particular. The meal tickets will give you an extra set of things in general, depending on which one you're using. So you have two different types. You have a experience meal ticket and a money meal ticket. The experience meal ticket will give you more experience at the end of your battles. And the money meal ticket will give you more money at the end of your battles. So choose wisely, depending on what you need. You're going to want to go ahead and use different types of tickets just for that reason. But for me personally, I don't really find use for the money ones in all honesty. It's honestly, in my opinion, better just to use the experience tickets whenever you can. Simply just because money isn't really that hard to get in this game. Especially if you're playing a lot of the ranked modes, you get money really fast. So the money up tickets, I don't really find much use because if I'm just playing the game normally, I'll have more than enough money to buy all the weapons, as much gear as I need, and even just, well, stat upgrades for my different weapons or my gear in general. Like, I don't have to worry much about money in general is my point. I'll have enough to buy pretty much anything I need. New types of weapons and upgrades are going to be very easy to come by for multiplayer, so I recommend just, whenever you're playing the single player, try your best to find those multiplayer tickets because they're really helpful, but in particular, I find the experienced ones to be the best. I use those things all the time. If you guys actually watch me stream Splatoon 2, I do stream this a good amount on my Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/SonicGhost64 for the shameless plug. But after that, let's just go ahead and talk about my real reason why I'm bringing this topic up instead of just a shameful plug. In particular, whenever I stream the game, you'll always notice I'm playing with a ticket on, but usually if I'm playing with a ticket, I'm playing with one of the experienced ones, just simply because you really want to use the ticket whenever you're trying to level grind this game. Multiplayer does give you a good amount of experience depending on whatever mode you're playing, but I swear, using those tickets makes things a lot better because the later levels are really hard to climb. They are really strict about how much experience that you get per mode, and some later levels are really high in experience, so it really helps to have those tickets. It really does. So yeah, I always recommend just using a ticket whenever you can, and they're pretty easy to come by. You get a decent amount from single player. You do get some from multiplayer modes as well, but in particular, at the end of single player, you'll probably have enough tickets if you went out of your way to explore both the hub and all these different levels in the single player to probably start you out for at least a couple hours worth of extra boosts. Inkopolis holds its famous card game tournament once a year. This year, first-time entrant Gifonzo appeared on the scene and promptly set about decimating the competition. He walked away with a first-place trophy. Wonder what this card game plays like. Like, they say it's a card game, but they don't really specify what it is in particular. Are they just playing like Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh style card game in this world, or is it more like a solitaire-based kind of game? Who knows? But now we're making our way to level 9 here. The Octolink Strike, right in the reef. So this level is our introduction of the Octoling based levels. Now, these are different compared to the other levels you get in single player because these levels play on multiplayer maps. Octolings! Wait, that's a mini Zapfish. Apparently 8 mini Zapfish combined have the power output of one normal Zapfish. Seek out those pillars of light and recover the mini Zapfish. That's our goal for this level. We have to collect all 8 pieces of the Zapfish to make one whole one. And that's actually a very interesting mechanic if you want to be honest here, because in Splatoon 1 we did have multiplayer levels like this as well, but in Splatoon 1 in particular, these multiplayer levels, you pretty much just had to get to the end because the ending had your Zapfish. But here they changed it up, so now you have to pretty much explore all of the level. In Splatoon 1, if you know what you were doing for the multiplayer levels, you could just beeline your way over to where the main Zapfish was. So it's a lot better here, in my honest opinion, for these multiplayer levels. There's more of a reason now to explore. I do like that. So, since there's so much enemy ink around this area, you're going to want to clean up as much as possible, because in the enemy ink, you can find yourself these hidden crates, and inside the crates can be a vast majority of different things. It can be more power eggs, it can be a collectible, it can maybe even be like a shield, so whenever you find that enemy ink, just ink it up a bit, and it'll be really rewarding. Right here, for example, I wanted to go ahead and get that box because it had a shield for me. So getting more armor really helps. And you really need it here because the Octarian AI isn't really the smartest thing in the world, but when they hit hard. I mean, you seen earlier when we first started the level, I did die right away because I ran out of ink, and their weapons are just better than mine. When you first start off, this hero shot is honestly really terrible. The biggest problem I have with the hero shot is it does a lot of damage, but the firing output is so slow. Like, this thing takes forever to shoot. If you use a splatter shot normally in the game from like the multiplayer, it's a major difference in comparison to this one. This one is so slow, but once you start upgrading this thing, it starts to become a lot better. I find this weapon to be pretty good starting at level 2, but on level 1, oh man, this thing's horrible. So I'm going to want to go ahead and level this thing up as soon as I can now that I have both the bombs, but for now, yeah, I can't really do much with this. So here's our auto bomb. This is our first real case of getting to use it. As you can see, it homed in on an Octarian and exploded as soon as it got near it. So that's the big help of these auto bombs. You can throw it into a distance, and that'll help you just destroy enemies immediately. I do like them, but I don't really find them that useful for single player. And the major reason why is half the time, you can just throw a bomb at an enemy, and they'll just stand next to it. So it doesn't matter if you're using an auto bomb or a normal bomb. You'll pretty much have the same result. And that's why I find auto bombs to be better in multiplayer compared to the single player mode. It's just I don't really find much of a use case scenario for them here. Ah, man, that was close. I almost thought for a sec I didn't have armor and would have got killed my next shot. That would have been bad. I don't want to die that soon. But now we got ourselves a special here, so I'm going to want to use this here in a moment. But let me go ahead and continue exploring, get myself another shield. And there's a Zapfish over here I didn't get, so let me go ahead and grab it real quick. Shoot the sponge here, give me a nice shortcut over to where the Zapfish is. And just blow up immediately with my bomb. Just like the end of level Zapfish we have in normal levels. You could either shoot this shield, which will do some damage to the Zapfish, or you could just go ahead and throw a bomb at it, which will blow up the shield immediately. So whenever I can, I'm going to want to throw a bomb at these things, but I have less of an opportunity to do that this time around simply just because of my ink consumption. I'm going to be shooting a lot more things here in general, so my ink is going to run dry very fast. So let me just go ahead and make my way around here. And I'm already out of ink, that's not good. Now this thing here, this is an ink wall. If you try to swim through that, you'll get hurt, so try your best to not swim through that thing. It hurts a lot. But it's actually a really good item to use if you have it. It's a bomb, though. That's the weird thing about it. So it does take up your bomb slot. But for multiplayer, it can be really useful if it's paired with a good weapon. And it's simply because when you're hiding behind one of those, the ink walls are a really good shield. So hiding behind one of those ink walls can do a lot for you in terms of pressuring your enemies and just pushing them backwards in general. It's so helpful. It's actually one of my favorite bomb types with certain weapons, just because of how helpful it can be in terms of pressuring your enemy. So we're right next to the enemy spawn point, and because of that we have to be really careful. I can't really shoot it because there's a shield around this, so I can't walk on their spawn point, and I can't kill any enemies that are on it. But real quick, I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate this special here. This is a bomb rush. And all this does really is it just gives you multitudes of splat bombs to use. It's pretty helpful for pressuring enemies and just making them run away. If you get a good shot out, you can kill some enemies with the splat bomb rush too. I don't find it to be one of the best specials simply because bomb rushes can be very situational. I think they're better for the ranked modes than compared to the turf war mode, but for single player, it's a pretty useful special because it can kill a lot of enemies really fast. Net the freshest gear around. Get the abilities you've always dreamed about. Orders will be fulfilled by the weird kid with the spiky hair. Interested? Send inquiries to Annie. So that little flavor text pretty much just told you about a system for multiplayer. We're getting more into detail later. But basically that character is someone that you can go ahead and just take custom orders for gear, which is pretty interesting. But again, we'll talk about more about that later on. But now that we cleared all the levels, we have ourselves the boss fight opened up. So now it's time for the showdown. Fear the Octo Samurai. Let's go ahead and jump into the boss kennel and take on the boss of World 2. So jumping right in, because I have auto bombs, I'm going to go ahead and do something here that I'm going to be doing for all the bosses going forward. So jumping into our launch pad here, I'm going to go ahead, as soon as I land, throw an auto bomb. Now it doesn't look like it does much now, but after this cutscene, you'll see why I throw an auto bomb right away. So starting off, we see another tentacle come out of random ink and grab our Zapfish. And out of the ink comes our boss. As you can see, this boss has a roller as well, so this fight's going to be roller v roller. Let's go ahead and prove why we're the better roller player. This is our boss of World 2. Meet the Splats with Honor Octo Samurai. Getting into it, you can really see right away why I like throwing out these curling bombs right away in a boss fight. For starters, when the boss spawns, it will reset your ink back to full. So what I like to do when starting these boss fights is I like to throw out ink right away, simply just because I can go ahead and use that ink to travel around, and it makes things just so much easier for that reason. But here I gotta be very careful because I just lost my armor already, so it's very easy to take a lot of pot shots from this guy and lose armor. And I barely got clipped from that ink too. I thought I was gonna dodge it, but apparently I did not. So unfortunately that means we do have to start phase 1 again. I was close to having him weakened down enough to do damage, but it wasn't close enough. It's really hard to dodge this guy, as you can see. Honestly, this is the first boss I can really recommend you have those curling bombs unlocked, simply just because it really helps when making a trail. This guy does a lot of damage. Honestly, this is going to be your first roadblock for the Splatoon 2 single player, just because of how much damage this guy does right away. So now I'm going to play things a little more safe. I'm going to use the curling bombs to make a path out of here. And now that he's on a cooldown period, I'm going to take advantage of this, get some more ink, continuously use my roller to fling. And anytime I can go ahead and heal, I'm going to want to do so. You heal more when you're moving around in your ink. If you're just sitting still, you won't heal as quickly. So make sure you're always moving around if you want to heal quicker. But here he's getting to rev up his ink roller, because it's basically a motorcycle for the guy. And now he's charging. Let's go ahead and ink him up. And that's it. Now we can go ahead and ink up the tentacle, actually doing damage to the guy. That's if we have enough ink. There we go. That was phase 1. As you can see, this guy does a lot of damage, so you have to be very careful. This boss is proving just how strong the roller weapon is, especially with the flings. But now going into phase 2, it's time for him to get more aggressive. Now he's going to start using the vertical swing. So let's go ahead, throw down our curling bomb, get out of there. And be careful, don't stand next to him for too long, because during some of these flings, he will actually turn his roller around, trying to hit you on the rebound. So you have to be very careful standing next to him for too long. But for now, he's charging up and he's swinging around. So at this point, I'm just going to stay in my ink for a bit, try to avoid him. Throw out a curling bomb to make a trail. Alright, now I'm back to full health so I can actually take him on again. He's revving up, so I'm going to throw a curling bomb and get out of here. This boss fight, I find the vertical roll to be a little more useful than the horizontal roll on the ground, simply just because it covers more ink. So it's useful if you're trying to make a path out of here. Let me stand back because you're going to do a swing. Alright, now I can do enough ink probably to damage him down. Unfortunately, he did move. So go ahead, use our curling bomb to make our way back over here quicker. And there you go. That's phase 2 down. So let me just go ahead and ink up his tentacle a bit. And now end this phase. On to the third and final phase of this boss fight. This one is definitely the most aggressive. And he hurts in this phase. This is the phase where I'm going to want to play even more defensively this time around. Coming out of his ink. Now he's getting mad. He's going to use a combination of the vertical roll along with a more powered up version of his roller. So now, this thing is going to really hurt. It has a very big trail, as you can see. It covers the whole map, so stay away when he's doing that vertical fling this time around. It is not pleasant. His horizontal fling is still not as powerful, so that one's probably the safest one, but it can still hurt, so you gotta be very careful. And as you can see, on the third phase, he does move around more when he's using the revved up version of his roller, so you can't just sit still. It will hurt. You have to keep on moving in this phase. So make sure to stay out of your pinch mode whenever you can, because it is really detrimental to be in your pinch mode for this fight. So let me get back. Back in my ink to heal a bit. And getting around to his back here is probably the safest zone. The more hits you do, you can actually get him to a bit of a stun. It won't really keep him stunned for too long, but that stun is still helpful to get some extra hits in before he moves. So let me see if I can do that again. Come on. There we go. Got him. So now I can just do more flings. And, ooh, that was a bad hit. Let me get away from him now. Let me throw my curling bomb to get closer. Do some more flings here, and he should just about be dead. There you go. All we gotta do is a little more damage here to the tentacle. And that's the end of the boss fight. This samurai has been sumoed. These guys all have gruesome deaths. You gotta feel bad for them at the end of the day. Like, they're just here minding their own business, protecting their zapfish. We come in, and we just destroy them. It's not just a kill, we decimate them, exploding their whole body. Whew, that was kind of insane. Great work, Agent 4. Maybe it's just me, but the Altarian bases feel like they've been given a feminine touch. Maybe they got a new decorator. Wait, no. Huh? This radio's on the fritz. I swear, I just changed the batteries in this thing. Actually, there is likely a radio interference in Octo Canyon. All the junk around there is probably giving off electrostatic. See, a lot of consumer products use a frequency called the CPOD band. Microwave ovens are prime culprits. In fact, my micro... We're breaking up, Sheldon. I'm going to a tunnel and an elevator. Going through a tunnel in an elevator. Where is this? I want to see the elevator tunnel. That would be hilarious. You know those don't actually exist for a reason. It's just not practical. I mean, the only thing I can think of is maybe she's in like a parking garage elevator going up, because that's the only thing that would make sense. But now we're done with World 2. We got everything here, so let's go ahead and jump into our launch pad and make our way to World 3. So World 3 here is the Beakers Depot. And this one, as you can see by the map just jumping into it, this one's a lot more spread out. So in World 1 and 2, we can just kind of safely travel around. Everything was pretty compact. But in World 3, it starts showing that the worlds get pretty big this time around. And there's a lot more platforming to do because of it. But I'm actually going to go ahead and save this world for the next episode. Next time on Let's Play Splatoon 2, we'll start exploring World 3. I'll see you guys next time.